come in.
My pleasure. We've met before. Common Council President José Pérez. That's your service.
See you, Jose. It's good to see you. We met it before.
We're going to talk a little bit about who I am so you know who you're talking with. And then, we just want to learn about you and hear stories about you.
Well, that's good.
I've been the CEO of Potawatomi Casinos and Hotel for about 3 years. It's been an amazing 3 years here so far. It's just an exciting journey. This is only the second interview we've ever done in Potawatomi Sportsbook Studio. I'm not a TV host. I'm not an actor. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not a celebrity, man. I'm just.
You look like a natural.
I appreciate it. We came from this fire. That fire is what was taught to us, and taught us how to pray to that, to be around it, to go to it when we need it, and it will always be home for us when we go home. But our people want us to be out here doing these things, fighting for what's right and building our sovereignty, our businesses. You can see me, you can be me, you can get out in the community, no matter who it is out there, to be running a major business like this in the city and being the CEO for them. It's a great honor, and I love being that. When I hear all of your people talk and go out and speak to them, they got nothing but love for the city. That's why it truly is a beautiful city. So with that, we got to talk and let you know who I am, because we never met.
That's right.
And I want you to know who I am and who you're talking to. So as we go through these stories, I've heard you speak, and I've always respected what you've done. So turning it over to you, was there something that happened to you, a story that said, like, look, I want to be an artist, an actor. I want to change the script for Hispanics and Latinos and get us out in front of them. So that's kind of where I wanted to start with, and just turn it over to you, Edward.
Well, Dominic, it's an honor and privilege to be here, and this casino is amazing. And I'm very impressed with the structure, the architecture, the way it's designed, everything. It's really beautiful. Very much very different than the casinos in Vegas and different other places I've been to. And I feel it much more familial in its feeling, Everybody's playing in there, it's having a good time. And, at casinos, you don't always have a good time. But in essence, they are having a good time here. And it's an honor and privilege to be here. And I can honestly tell you that I'm very grateful that you're doing this kind of a festival here, and bringing about the understanding of the inner culture of the music, Mexican and Tex-Mex music. And it's beautiful. That's why I'm here. But go back to me. I didn't come into this world saying to be or not to be. All right, I didn't start my life that way. I was born and raised in East Los Angeles, going to First Indiana. Very, very much a city inside. There was no trees, there was no grass, and a lot of cement. And what we had to do is just learn to, kind of play on the street. We played on our street was a very interesting street. It was like a little hill, and on one end came into the very big main street, First Street, and then you keep on going down to the other end, and it was 5 points, what they call it, where 5 different roads connect, and they got a turnaround there, and but it was pretty much a city kind of beginning. But it was, and we were raised very modestly, and there was quite a few of us living in a small house. And I started off more than anything being inspired by my family, my grandparents, my great-grandparents were the ones who took care of me. And then I started playing baseball. And about the age of about 4 or 5 years old, I started throwing a ball up in the air and trying to catch it. I couldn't do it. And after a while, I caught it, and it took me a few days, like 2 or 3 weeks, to really be able to throw it up in the air and catch it. And you kind of like catch it, but you fumble in it, and you don't have no control over it. And then I started throwing it against the wall, and I ended up finding out that I liked that game. And I used to throw with friends who'd come over, and at the time we were creating. On that street we lived, they used to buy us these skates, roller skates that were made out of metal. and they're connected to the shoe, and you had to tighten the grasp around the metal. Kind of archaic now when you see those shoes, but they had wheels on them, and you put them on your shoes, and we, since we lived on a hill, it was a lot of fun. Except you almost always got hurt. You're always falling on your butt, but they would break. So somebody got the bright idea of putting those wheels on pieces of wood. And so we'd never seen a skateboard. I don't even know if they had them in 53, 52, when we were doing this. And we started putting them on, and then we'd sit on them first. We'd sit on the board and go down, and then guys, as we got a little bit more into it, they started to stand up on it, and that was crazy. That was worse than putting on skates. But anyway, we'd do a lot of different things every day, but one of the things that we would do would play ball. And so pretty soon we had, a couple of years of doing it every day, 7 days a week. You'd go outside and play, and you'd be playing the games you wanted to play. And since we didn't have too much to be able to, we didn't have any parks or anything around us, so we would play on the street, and we'd create our own games to play. And so we ended up playing baseball, one of the things we played. So I ended up becoming really good at baseball. Really good. And by the time I was 14 years old, I had disciplined myself to play the game in a way that I really moved into playing it professionally. We started playing with, I started playing in a little league when I was about 7, 8 years old, and then played it every day. And by the time I was 13 years old, I was playing for the California Sun League, which was, it was like single A ball.
Oh, wow.
And I was playing with some of the great ball players of that era, 1958, 59. I was catching Eddie Roebuck when I was 13 years old, and playing with Bobby Knopp and Gary Knopp, and they were the Knopp brothers.
What position?
A catcher. And I played, people were surprised when they see players playing all the positions, and they go, wow, I wonder how they... Well, that's how we played. We played all the positions. I need third base. I'll play second today. I'll play short. Wait a minute, I'm going to play right field, And so we learned, And then we had some really good coaches. And so they really taught us. So I was, at the time when I was playing with the California Sun League, I was catching. And it was fun. I was a little guy, too. I wasn't too big.
You're busy when you're catching.
Oh, man, it's an interesting position. It really is. And then one day, when I was around 9 or 10 years old, it was 1957, 56, 57, and of course, turn on the radio for the first time, and they have a rock and roll station. The first rock and roll station came on, and because before that, they would play pop music, Pat Boone, Ray Conniff, Guy Lombardo. They would play, just good music, and swing, but there was no rock and roll, and there was not even country music, and we were in L.A., downtown L.A., so anyway, I started listening to rock and roll music, and I loved it. And my father was a great dancer, so when we were young, when we were about 9, 10 years old, my father would teach us how to cha-cha-cha, how to mambo, how to swing, do the two-step, and waltz, and he liked it. So we'd learn. My brothers and sisters learned with him. And so we had music, and then dancing and movement, and then we had exposed to rock and roll, and I fell in love with it, and I hung up my cleats in 1960. It was the last doubleheader I ever played in the summer, and I stopped playing baseball. My family went nuts, and so did the coaches and all my friends. They go, what are you doing? You're not going to play ball anymore. You're a professional ball player, man. You can make your life here. I said, yeah, but I kind of like I like rock and roll. And I had seen, Elvis Presley. Had seen quite a, the Ed Sullivan Show exposed you to a lot of different artists that were singing and dancing, and so I started singing and dancing. And at 14, and I played baseball. I did it every day, and pretty soon, I couldn't do it at all at the beginning. I still can't. I really can't sing, and now I really can't sing because I had cancer of the throat. So just a year and a half ago, I finished my treatment for it. But it's been an interesting process going through that one. But anyway, there I was singing, dancing. I couldn't really sing, but I could dance. And so and then at 17, I graduated from high school and went into college. And I was playing, by that time, I was already performing on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. And and the nightclubs there, and this was like 1963, 62, 63, 64, just before right when the Beatles were coming out.
You were dancing?
Singing.
Singing.
I was singing rock and roll. And yeah, I was the lead singer who couldn't sing. The rest of my band sang better than I did. That's what kept me going, because they'd do harmony around me and I sounded great, But I had what I was a showman. I really realized it was, and the storyteller. I was a storyteller. I could convey a song and the words that I was saying in a way that people would really listen to the song and listen to music and what we were talking about.
Would you say that was your calling, in a sense?
Yeah, that's when I didn't know then. I still didn't know anything about it. Like I said, I didn't come out of my mother's womb saying to be or not to be. But then I graduated from high school and I went to college, East LA Community College, 2-year college. And I walked in there, and in the first semester, I took an acting class, theater arts class, along with, everything else. I was studying sociology, criminal law, and your prerequisites, which you have to do. Everybody has to do the same courses. And so I did that, and they got inside of theater. So now I was doing theater, music, singing, dancing, and they were kind of would fit really well together, and one was helping the other, and that's what I needed. I needed help to develop and understand myself, because I knew one thing. I didn't want to be better than anyone else at doing this. I just wanted to be the best that I could be, like I was in baseball. Yeah. I wasn't that I was better than the other kids playing ball. It wasn't that at all. It's just that I was really good at it. I was really good at it. And people would come and say, hey, man, you're really good at this. Thanks. That's all I wanted, just to be good at whatever it is that I was doing. And so with that discipline that I'd learned in baseball, through discipline, determination, perseverance, and patience, which was the key to my whole existence, is give it enough time. Be patient with yourself. Don't beat yourself up, and don't get impatient, and quit. As long as you don't quit and you're doing something you love to do, keep doing it, man. You're going to become really strong in it. You're going to really find yourself inside of it. You're going to be really understanding of yourself in it, and you'll be good at it. You'll be real good at it if you keep on doing it long enough. And later on in life, I found out about the 10,000 hour
Oh yeah,
concept.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was later though, and so to me, again, it was a slow process of learning how to be a storyteller. Because even when I was playing baseball, I would tell stories, and I was always like you, gifted in being able to express myself. I wasn't a speech giver, or I wasn't an actor. I wasn't any of that. Yeah. That I learned that behavior, and now I'm really good at it because I've done it for so many years and for so long, and I've been fortunate enough to really put it all together and continue to do it. Even today, I'm doing it tonight. I'll be performing tonight. Just be the MC, the announcer, and entertaining and telling stories and greeting people and giving them a feeling of an understanding of the moment, the reality of the moment. And that's all part of it. It's going to make me better than I was yesterday. This will make me stronger, And that's how I got to be here today, and how I got to be who I am today. And like you, I have a lot to be grateful for. Yeah. I am really, really grateful, because I've lived a very privileged life, man. For 50 years I've been, telling stories and now making my life out of it, I did other things to feed myself for a while, but inevitably I started making sense, and that sense added up to dollars, and then pretty soon I was, able to support myself. So I always tell the kids this. They don't believe me, but I tell them, and I tell people around it, I'm not special. I made myself really understandable inside of what I like to do, and people enjoy it, that I'm doing it. It's like, no athlete will ever say to you that they're naturally gifted. It took too much work. It took way too much to get to the point of being, Magic Johnson or whoever you want to be, in respects of that quality of that kind of. Now, some people have more aptitude to do certain things. Sure, that's understandable. But those that do that and get there, you shouldn't compare yourself to them. You should just, how are you in whatever it is that you're looking at? Can you do that, or do you want to do that? How long have you spent doing that? How much do you love it? Can you read about it, talk about it, do it, watch it every day? Because you're gonna need something all the time, and that to me was the essence of living.
Well, I feel like that's a powerful story, and I think you're more than just a good storyteller, to say the least. But
believe me when I tell you, I understand what you're trying to say, Dominic, and I appreciate it, man. I love what I walk in and people say, "Geez, I saw American Me. Hey, man, I saw, Stand and Deliver. Wow, I saw you in Selena. Hey, I saw Mayans. Hey, I saw Battlestar Galactica." Fantastic. But that took years to be able to tell those stories. Had I been asked to tell that story when I was, younger, I wouldn't have been able to do it. It would just have been way out of my caliber of understanding human behavior. I wouldn't know how to do that. And so I learned it. I didn't, like I said, I did not come out of my mother's womb saying to be or not to be. I learned how to, tell the stories.
In our tribal world, that's how everything gets passed down.
Everything.
It's stories.
Everything.
Right? That fireplace and those stories. But I think, and us, we always, grew up around multiple generations, and I still answer to him. I called my dad right before I got here so I could make sure and get the family story right and hear it one more time for him. He was right here, sitting here talking, and he wanted to say hello from Stephen Ortiz and Dolores Ortiz. So here we go. I wanted to tell him.
You tell Stephen Dolores that I thank them very much.
Thank you.
Really thank them for their kindness and respect. I really do. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Well, there you go, Mom and Dad. We got that piece. But, his story is powerful, right? It tells you of determination and perseverance, and you can be anything that you want to be if you set your mind to it, right? That's what he's telling us.
It's the name of the game.
Don't quit. This road's gonna be tough.
If nothing else, die trying. It's better than dying not trying. You know what I mean? If you give up, I can't do this. Okay, well, yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're right. You can't do that. Or you can say, hey, man, I can do this. Yeah, you can. You can do that. And it's you. It's each individual person. And that sometimes is hard on people because they say, well, nah, man, you were raised a whole different. Wait a minute. Let's go back to the beginning now. Where I was raised, not a whole lot of people came out as actors. Where I was raised, there was a lot of people that took the dark side. Yep. They do. They took the kids took a dark side, man, and they really appreciate it. So I made the movie American Me. We all saw American Me. We all know what that movie was about. Yep. And people are saying, well, that's a great movie. Yeah, because it's honest. It's true to the moments that it portrays, and all I can tell you is that that's the way to learn about that lifestyle. Go see that movie. Then when you come out, if you still want to live that lifestyle, you're educated already. You know a little bit more about it. Or you'll see it and say, well, you know what? I don't really, that's not for me. And go another way. And that, to me, is the reason we made the movie. Just give people an experience that they can see, that they don't have to go through the inside of it, but they can watch it. And it attacks the subconscious mind just as if they had done it. So, that's the beauty of the art, of the audiovisual event. It's so powerful. There's nothing like it, That's why AI is like scared everybody now, because AI now is creating, and the whole situation.
It's not a real experience.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I use zero chat GPT in my research and questions right now today. But it's going to come to an end at some point.
Can I just ask, as you talked about your calling, what were some of the challenges or barriers you had to break through early on? I mean, you look at the Latino community today. We've come a long way. I can only imagine from what we see on TV what Hollywood was like when you were coming up, and then how much of that do we see in your acting? Some of those trials and tribulations.
Oh, you see it all. I mean, basically everything that I am, it's because of what brought me to this point. Now, each of us have a different way of getting here, but the one thing that is really interesting is that things have changed. I grew up in a very beautiful area when it came to understanding life. I'm so grateful, I can't even tell you, man, because I really believe that there's only one race, and that's the human race. And inside the human race, there are African cultures, Caucasian cultures, Latino cultures, indigenous cultures, Asian cultures, but there's only one race. We're all the same race. And we've used that word to mean the other. We made it a way of, saying that, we're different from each other. No. We're the human race, and we're all humans, and we're all genetically connected. Yeah. We're all connected, like 6 different DNA patterns, and then after that, there's no more. We're all the same. And yes, we all have different thumbprints, therefore every single human being, at least up to now, is definitely, an individual. You could have twins, and they do not have the same thumbprint, And so same egg, they came out of the same, the same womb, everything, and nope, they're not. And this to me is very important. And where I was born and raised, the way I was born and raised, my area just bred that we were all a great big huge salad, where the lettuce stayed the lettuce, the tomato stayed the tomato, the onion stayed the onion, the olive stayed the olive. On top of it, you could put a French dressing, a Russian dressing, or an Italian dressing, and you could toss it, and that's how our streets were. They were tossed, so that the lettuce lived right next door to the tomato, and right next door to the onion, right next door to the, I was raised in an area that bred that kind of understanding. And has there been things in the past that have been very difficult that made my life what I am today? Yeah. A lot of discrimination, a lot of signs that says if it isn't worth saying in English, it isn't worth saying at all. That's what I learned like when I was about 4 years old. It was written right across the top of my elementary school. As you walked into school, it said right there. And my grandfather read it to me. If it isn't worth saying in English, it isn't worth saying at all. And that's why they would speak to us, and they demand that we speak to them in English. They would speak to us in Spanish and broken English, but mainly in Spanish. But they wanted to make sure that we spoke English because of that. Yeah. And I did a movie called Walkout, which is a really interesting film, which I highly recommend people. It's on HBO. You can actually. Or Max, you can actually ask for it, search it out and get Walkout. You'll like it. Mm-hmm. It deals with the experience of the kids in 5 different high schools in L.A. who walked out after saying our bathrooms are not fixed, we can't even use them, we have to pee in the bushes, and then you get caught peeing in the bushes, and you throw us out of school, we can't speak our language. Now, a whole bunch of stuff came up, and this was about 1968. And this is it was right around the time they walked out, right before they shot Martin Luther King. And then after that, so it was the walkouts, then it was Martin Luther King, and then it was Bobby Kennedy, and then it was the Tet Offensive. And that 1968 was a tough year, man. So we walked out there. The walkouts were in March 6th of 1968. It's something that I must say that it brings about an understanding that, yeah, the discrimination prejudice got me. And I learned it the hard way by being, and you hear somebody say it, and you see somebody talk to you, and they won't let you do something. I remember going to a golf course, they wouldn't let me in the golf course. You know, and I remember wanting to go to the restroom, and they led me around the back over to the, workers' quarters, and made me go into the bathroom where, outside of the building. Jesus. And I was already somebody. I was already somebody. I was a professional entertainer. I was around 18 years old, 19 years old, but it was a Bel Air Country Club. So that was a little beyond the beyond for everybody. So, but those are the times when you really realize, you say, okay, I get it. But you know what it is? And this feeling that we're having now, especially with Trump and with the whole understanding of what's been happening with the extreme right wing, and it is extreme, and I'm not trying to, and the left wing is just as bad as the right wing. They're both trying to destabilize us in some way, one thinking that they're better than the other, but they're both like so extreme that the people in the middle, we're the ones who suffer. We're the ones who got to, turn around and see ourselves destroyed and our country destroyed by their powers that be. And but as far as I'm concerned right now, I mean, we have a tremendous amount of movement today that has been going on for centuries. And again, going back to the key understanding of discrimination and prejudicisms, and those that have and those that have not. And the haves today have so much more than they've ever had in their lives. I've never seen so many billionaires. I remember when a millionaire, if you had $1 million, if you made $1 million in your lifetime, wow, you were like, whoa, you were set for the rest of your life. Yeah. You were set. 1 million? Are you kidding? You're a millionaire, man. Oh, yeah, thank you. But now they're billionaires and they're going into trillionaires. And I'm saying, interesting. And there are already people that have trillions of dollars. That's 1,000 billion, which is a billion is 1,000 million. Excuse me? Excuse me? Where does it go after trillion is the question, because it's going to happen. But anyway, go on forever like this. Other questions, Ben? Yes, I was affected by my upbringing, and it did affect me immensely.
No, I think in today's world of TikTok and how fast in the 5 minutes everything, and dealing with multiple generations, it's these stories they carry forward that are, kind of give you goosebumps as you listen to a lot of these stories that we have listened to. Then you just hear about the hard work and the repetition, the dedication, you don't give up. You don't let anybody put you down. It was the discipline, And this is what carries us and inspires us, I guess, what I'd like to lead with is just, you've been here in the place, and, we're all fighting to be one race. We're alongside you with that, to help that everybody can get ahead in life, that it's fair for them, that you can work hard, and we understand that and know the challenges and difficulties that exist. So I guess just from your perspective, any parting words to my generation and the next generation is as we come up to find our career, find ourselves, and find who we are.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you're doing it. We're examples of it. The three of us are examples of what we've been able to understand. I mean, none of us had been given anything. We learned how to do what we do, and we move forward. And that's one of the great things about this country. You know, as with all of its misunderstandings of dynamic and culture and all the different things that plague us as human beings, and the whole world, but especially in this country, because we use 90% of everything, all the natural resources we use in this country. So we have a lot going for it in this country. We can do anything we want to do. The key to the whole thing is how much passion and desire, and how well can you dream? How can you latch on to something? See, geez, you know, you're watching. I remember my kids were watching the Olympics back in 1980. And they were watching the gymnasts, and they said, "Man, I'd like to do that." And I turned without even thinking. I said, "Well, you can. You know, you could do that." And they go, "What?" I go, "Yeah, you just have to really work hard. Gymnasts is that's a real difficult." And they did. They said, "Okay, I'd like to try that." Great. So we got enrolled into a gymnast class, and they went 7 days a week. To every individual person listening to this has a choice to make. From the now of it, right now, not tomorrow, the now of it. Are you now happy with what you're doing? And if you're not, what would make you happy? And as long as it's not harmful to your health or harmful to somebody else, do it every day. Just do it 7 days a week. Always either reading about it, talking about it, doing it, or, you know, watching somebody do it. Learning, always learning. Just continue to learn. I'm 77 years old. Like I told you before, you know, I know I'm old, but I look good. And it basically, I'm very lucky because, like I intimated earlier, that I had cancer. And right now, I'm cancer-free. It's my second round with it.
Good for you.
Yeah, I had it when I was 49, then I had it again when I was 76. And it almost, this last time was really tough, because it was through the throat. And even to this day, when they found it and they got it and they started working on me, before they started doing the radiation and the chemotherapy, the doctor said, you know, we don't have any idea what you're going to sound like. So, wait a minute, what? Says, yeah, we're attacking the vocal cords and we're attacking this part of your throat. And so it was a tough journey. We had no idea. And to this day, I still have problems. Not with the cancer, because they got it. The treatment almost killed me. You know, the disease wouldn't have killed me as fast as treatment was killing me. You know, chemo and radiation they're intense. And did it for months, every day. And with that, I find myself now, you know, my voice is weaker now. It's not as strong as it used to be. And I see people constantly looking at me and trying to listen. I can see that they're trying to hear me. That means that I'm not projecting enough. And that's all due to the strength of the vocal cord. But in turn, I'm very grateful that I'm here and that I got a chance to understand my life over again. Even after pandemic was another really strong moment in time for the human being, especially here all over the world. But especially at our age, the elder had the most to really fear. Yeah. But and so did the very young. And but we have a choice. You're listening to me right now. You have a choice. It's up to you to make that choice. And, geez, for God's sake, be happy.
I love that message, you know, and I think from today, I don't think you could get a better message, man. Love what you do. Fight to the end for it. If you're not happy, make a change in your life and do something different, man. Go for it. And you don't know where that road's going to take you and where it's going to go, but you keep believing in yourself and you keep believing with that determination, and we know that you can succeed. So with Tejano Fest tonight. We're glad that you came into town, and now we're going to have a big party. We got VIP sections, we got food, entertainment.
Good music.
Listen, just on behalf of the Common Council of the City of Milwaukee, we're so glad you're here, that you're participating in Tejano Fest. The Latino community has had a big impact in the City of Milwaukee and its population. The Potawatomi Casino is here, employing folks, having a huge impact on our economic development. We all feel it. There's a rich history of Latino civil rights in the city, and the casino sits on the viaduct here, where back in the day, in the 60s, you talked about, was all the marches for fair housing, or right here. And it's right front and center, and it's symbolic not only to the community, but to the casino, and it's a place to bring all of us together. So we're glad you're here to share Tejano Fest. Our Latino folks love to see you. They appreciate you, and we're glad you're here with all of us, sharing some of your wisdom and your words of inspiration for us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your invite.
And with that, that's a wrap to Potawatomi Sportsbook Studio. Thank you for joining in.